Alrighty, I feel like this is going to be a very interesting episode of Ahmet Kaan's journal. So this episode is going to be titled, I Need to Change My Relationship with My Religion. And let me give you guys a little bit of like a backstory of my relationship with religion. So I have never been a non-religious person, to be honest. I'm Muslim, my family is Muslim, my mom prays regularly, I believe in God, I believe in the rules. However, I am not the best Muslim. I make a lot of mistakes, a lot of sins, etc. However, when I was a kid in middle school, I feel like I personally was more religious. My school kind of like had the worldview of religion, and it wasn't like a religious school. It was like an academical school, and it was a very successful academical school actually. However, all of my teachers pretty much were like good Muslims. So I had really good role models. My teachers, I had really good like people that were teaching me stuff. And then I went into high school, and I graduated from that high school like now, and me entering this high school was 5 years ago. Because like my environment completely changed when I got into this high school. Pretty much every single, not maybe teacher, but like every single friend, except a couple of ones that I had were atheistic. Like they were just completely atheists, right? And the problem was, because of the fact that my environment was filled with people that had no fear of God, I slowly but surely started becoming like them. And when I say this, I didn't stop fearing God, but it's like my actions didn't really show that. I was like a normal person who didn't really practice religion much. I became like that. I was like a normal person. I live my normal life. I study. I do my work. I have a girlfriend. Like normal life. Like I don't really practice religion much. And I started praying less. I started feeling less and less accountable for the idea of God. That's why my religiousness, if that's a word, started slowly going down. And I would have, it always like gradually went down, and then I would have bursts of like, oh yeah, I should be more religious. Oh yeah, I believe in God, I should be doing these things. I would have bursts of those ideas. So it would slowly and gradually go down, and then I would have bursts of like just high points of like, yeah, I should be more religious, I should be more religious. And at one point, for example, I made a video on YouTube saying that I should be more religious, for example. And that was one of those bursts where I was like, yeah, I should be more religious, I should do these things. But then it slowly and surely, gradually went down because of the people that were in my environment. And even though like we talk about, oh, you shouldn't be someone who gets like affected by the environment, like bro, your environment is 100% is going to affect you. Maybe, for example, if you're incredibly productive and you have like shit friends, you may not directly become like them, but you're slowly going to be like them. For example, they're going to invite you to a PlayStation party where you guys are going to eat Doritos and just play PlayStation. You're going to deny that once, deny that twice. And then on the third day, you're going to accept their invite because you have been working really hard, and then you're going to accept their invite. And then, months later, you're going to start accepting their invite without actually doing the hard work. So, you're slowly going to become like them. You're going to give those like, you're going to make those compromises slowly but surely. And this point, after making that video, like that brings me to last summer, 1 year ago. And exactly 1 year ago. So I started dating this girl, which is, to be honest, my like real first relationship. And she didn't share, to be honest, some of the values that I had when it comes to religion. Fundamentally a good person, fundamentally a caring person, fundamentally actually a good person, a helping, supportive person, but didn't really share the exact beliefs that I had when it comes to religion, for example. And because of the fact that I was at a point in my life where I also didn't practice religion much, and also she didn't practice religion much, our lifestyles were kind of like similar. But there was a difference in belief in my head, because I believed in most things. She also believed in God, but it's like she didn't really have much fears when it comes to this topic. I still knew that at some point of my life, I would have to convert much more back to Islam because I would want to go to the paradise instead of the hell. But because of the fact that she didn't practice the religion too much and we were in a relationship, I kind of like pushed that deadline for myself of converting back to Islam a lot further and further. It was like I was waiting a big moment to happen in my life. Like maybe, like God forbid, like a car crash where I realize, oh man, death is actually nearby. Like death is not something that might not happen 50 years from now. I might have to take like religion seriously now. I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe waiting for a moment like that. Maybe, like, psychologically, maybe I was waiting for a moment like that. But then, bro, time is flying by. Like, time is flying by. And when you believe in this stuff and you know that you're not practicing much, that plays in your head all the time. You're like, yeah, I should go back, I should go back, I should go back, I should pray more, I should do these things. And then you don't do them, it plays in your head. And now I feel like I am at a point in my life where I can't really afford waiting for a magical moment to change my life completely. Like, I just can't really afford waiting for that magical moment where I realize, yeah, I should be more religious and stuff like this. I just can't wait for that moment. That moment has to happen now. So I sat down and actually talked with my girlfriend. I explained that I need to become more religious. I essentially go back to who I am, essentially wearing like a mask all the time. And she was really supportive. She would help me with anything, for example, like this stuff. And she would keep me accountable. So here is the number one change that I'm going to implement in my life. And that's, when I say number one change, I'm not going to talk to you guys about like 5 changes. I'm going to implement this one change in my life, and I think that's going to bring me back to the right path, I guess. And that path, that's one change is, I'm starting to pray 5 times a day. The Islamic prayers 5 times a day. I'm going to start praying them. Truthfully, yes, this is a tiring and a daunting task to do. This is a tiring and daunting task to do. 5 times a day, you cut your day off, you pray, and then you go back to your day, right? 5 times a day. And a lot of people will see this as like a distraction. Oh, I was working, I was in deep work, and then I had to like break my deep work because I had to pray for 5 minutes and then come back. That breaks my focus. And these are the exact same people who would break their focus for scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through I don't know, like TikTok, and then they don't break this focus for something important. This is a big step, by the way. Like, this means that I have to schedule my days a little differently. This means that I have to take breaks at times where I will be continuing to work and I'm going to pray, because that's also important. There's also a priority now. And I do think that this is going to be a very, very, very positive thing in my life. So let me explain you why. Let me explain you why this is going to be something that's really, really positive. There are 2 benefits that I want to talk about. The number one is going to be the religious benefits, like the religious thing where you are doing what you're supposed to do. You are doing your task that God told you to do. So I'm not going to dive deep into this. But the second one is going to be about productivity. And let me explain to you guys how praying 5 times a day will actually make you much, much, much more productive. So the first prayer of the day is exactly before the sun rises, which means that if you want to pray that prayer, you have to wake up before the sun. You have to wake up nowadays it's like 5 a.m. You have to wake up at 5 a.m. And the last prayer is at like 10 or something like that. Like, I don't really know. I have to check it from my phone. And that means after that you gotta go to bed. So your wake up and your going to sleep times are kind of decided. Which means if you if you consistently do that, you are going to be much more productive, because as we all know, consistency in anything means progress and productivity. Also, a lot of people are going to say like this is a distraction, but no, simply no. The explanation for that is the times of the prayers are so beautifully designed by God, so beautifully designed that it already plans out like your day. It literally already plans out your day. So there are 5 prayers, and the first one is early in the morning, and you wake up, you pray that, and then the religion basically tells you to work, tells you to go to your job, tells you to do whatever it is that you have to do. And for me, that's like, for example, doing the YouTube channel, doing my work, doing my outsourced client work. Like, if I wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, pray my prayer, 5 minutes, not gonna take more than that, and then start doing my work, bro, that's an incredibly productive morning. Like, that's what I actually do. Like, that's incredibly productive. And then you work for a long time. You have breakfast, you work in the morning, and then you have breakfast, you continue working, and then there are like 3 more prayers throughout the day, and then we have the last prayer. And 3 more prayers, like the good thing when it comes to this is, you can't do these in batch. Like, you can't sit down and pray all the prayers in the morning and say, yeah, I'm done with it. No, there are times that we have to do this. Which means, if you're lying down on your bed, and if you're procrastinating all day long, you literally cannot, because you have to wake up and you have to get up from your bed and pray. And that means you are taking a little of an action. And you can snowball that action into doing harder stuff, into doing your work, for example, into doing your deep work. So, the fact that you are praying the morning prayer means that you are waking up before the sun. And as you know, if you are waking up at 5 a.m., you are technically much, much, much more productive than anyone. Not anyone, but like a lot of people who are waking up at like 9, 10 a.m. You are going to be much more productive. You have 5 hours ahead of them. 5 hours ahead of them. Most of you guys don't even work 5 hours a day. Like, you can get that done before people fucking wake up. And then, in between tasks, when I'm taking a break, for example, instead of going to my phone and distracting myself with social media, with haram behavior, I'm just gonna pray. 5 minutes, boom, and then just message a couple of people, go back to work. 10-minute break. Amazing. Why do I need social media? Why do I need social media? I don't need social media. So, I know that if you would ask me as a question, what's God's role in your life? I would say that, yeah, it's very important, it's the main thing in your life, but for a long time my actions didn't really show that. And that's not a good thing. That's definitely not a good thing. So the action that I'm going to take is praying 5 times a day, and I'm going to do that. And I truly hope that this is going to put me into a better mental state as well as to the right path. This was just like a realization as well as a decision that I made over the last couple of days. So just want to share that with you guys as an episode of Ahmet Kaan's Journal. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next one.